All right, so today we're gonna walk through how to install a Kali Linux VM on VirtualBox. So if you didn't see the announcement I posted on Discord about installing VirtualBox, if you haven't, downloaded the files, you're gonna need those. Should just be these two. So you got VirtualBox, then you have your Kali Linux ISO. So yeah, if you don't have those downloaded, go download those real quick. I'll be, continuing on with the meeting because this takes a lot to do. So anyway, if you have those downloaded and you have VirtualBox installed, open VirtualBox. If it's not a desktop icon, you can just go scroll down to VirtualBox. I'll just type it in, VirtualBox, yep, right there. And you'll be at this page. And I'm, not like a teacher or anything. So if you need me to slow down, just like yell at me or type in chat that you need me to slow down. Anyway, so once we're at the VirtualBox manager, we're gonna go and we have the Kali Linux ISO downloaded. It's, a 4 GB file. You don't need to click on it or anything. It should just be in an accessible location. You're gonna go to new. So now once you do new, you're gonna do, it'll say name and operating system. So name, you can put what you want. I'm just gonna put Kali, okay. Machine folder, this is the folder where it's going to install to. You can leave this as is, but for me, I'm going to change this because I'm going to install this on an external hard drive. So yeah, but yeah, just leave that as is. For type, we're going to do Linux because this is a Linux operating system. And then for version, we're actually going to do Debian 64-bit. There's no Kali Linux option, but since Debian is very close to Kali Linux, we're just going to use Debian 64-bit. All right, once you have all of that selected, you have your name, machine folder, you can just leave it as is, the type, and the version, and go next. Now here's where you select your memory size or how much RAM you want to give your virtual machine. So I generally like to give, around a quarter-ish. So for me, I have 16 GB of RAM. So I'm going to give it around 4 GB. But really, if you just leave it at 2048 or 2 GB, it should be fine. Then next, we're going to do create a hard disk. So right now, this is going to be the actual hard drive or virtual hard drive we're going to install it on. So we're going to do create a virtual hard disk now. Now we're going to leave all of this the same. So it's going to be VDI, VirtualBox disk image. Click next. Going to leave all this dynamically allocated. All right, now this is the size you want to make the virtual hard drive. Now, Kali Linux is not good with small sizes. So I would recommend having at least 25 GB. For this one, I'm actually going to do 30. So really, you're pretty much just limited to whatever your hard drive space is. If you have, full terabyte, you might want to bump it up to 40 or 50 GB. If you're really limited, you might want to just leave it at 25. But just having, 25 GB is a good point. And click create, okay. Now it's set up. So what we have to do now is we have to choose, hey, we want to boot into Kali Linux. So we're going to go to settings, okay. And once you're in settings, go to storage. After you click storage, go to, you should see controller, then IDE, click empty. And you see this blue disk icon, you're going to click that, and you're going to do choose a disk file. Now, this is where you navigate to where you installed the actual Kali Linux ISO, which is one of the links that I posted. So right now I have it in my downloads. It's Kali Linux 2020.3 installer, AMD 64. Yep, it's this file. I'm going to click open. All right, once we have that selected and it shows up right here, we're going to click OK. So now everything's set up initially. So what we can do now is we can click start. We can actually start the virtual machine. All right, it's going to say select the startup disk. This is fine. All right. So now we're going to click inside of it, and I can move my arrow keys. We're going to do graphical install. I'll make this full screen real quick. Yeah, I'm sorry about the small screen. We'll fix that after it finishes. But anyway, we're here. All right, we're going to select the language, English, because I speak English. Select your location, United States. Configure keyboard, you can just leave it as American English. It's fine. And then now it's going to start, installing some things that we need. And then after it installs this stuff, then we're going to have to configure some options, and we'll install more stuff. So we just got to wait for it all to load. All right, when you get to the configure the network, please enter the host name. So you can name this whatever you want. I'm just going to leave it as Cali because it's just, it's default. So, but you can pretty much name it like my computer, my PC. You just can't have spaces in it. And you can have like dashes, or you can have special symbols. All right, domain name, we're just going to leave this empty. All right, set up the new user. So you can set up your user you're going to use. You can put your name, you can put whatever. I'm just going to put Kali because this is Kali Linux. So I'm just going to keep it as Kali. And then the actual username, I'm just going to leave it as Kali. Now you're going to choose the password for your user account. So choose a password that is easy for you to remember, because if you forget this password, it's kind of difficult to, reset it. But I'm just going to set a password for it. Okay, then re-enter the password. Just make sure you remember it because it's kind of difficult to reset. All right, now configure your clock. So we're in the Eastern time zone. All right, now for partition disk. So we're just going to leave it default, guided, use entire disk. There's really no reason to mess with this, and this will just work just fine. All right, we're going to choose, if it's not selected, we're going to choose this, which is your hard disk you made. Should be the only one. And we're just going to leave it as all files in one partition. Continue. And finish partitioning and write changes to disk. We're going to do continue. And here it's going to say write changes to disk. We're going to click yes. Continue. And then, yeah, now it's going to start installing the actual operating system. So this is going to take a while. Yeah, this is just gonna vary on your internet connection, how fast or slow this takes. I have terrible internet because, you know, Clemson in an apartment, so it takes forever. Now, if you get any errors, like you see any warning signs come up or anything that appears, just let me know in chat. I'm gonna just keep going and walking through people who are able to get through this. And at the end, I'll help you out, or you can go into the Discord, go into the Linux channel, and then just, you know, ask somebody, say, hey, I'm getting this error, and somebody will respond. All right, now that the base system is installed, there's software selection. So I would recommend just leaving this as is, because this will give you everything you really need. There's no reason to mess with things. But for the sake of this, you know, walkthrough, I'm going to not install these things because having them install will just take longer, and, you know, I don't want to be here for 2 hours just installing something. So anyway, just leave it as is. No need to uncheck these. Just leave everything checked that was checked, and then click continue.
So, while we're waiting, what did everybody have for dinner tonight?
I had pizza.
I haven't even eaten yet, so.
I had pizza.
Pizza sounds
gang.
nice, dude.
I'm noticing a theme here. Guess what I'm gonna have tonight? Leftover
geez.
pizza. Let's go, baby. I did the trick where you put the cup of water in the microwave, and it actually kind of worked.
Oh, is it leftover pizza?
Yeah. The crust was like rock hard, which isn't ideal.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. My roommate should be making dinner. I hope they actually do.
I ordered an extra large pizza after Seesaw, and I only ate like 4 slices of it. So I'm so hungry because I haven't eaten in like 3 days. Literal food coma.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
So, how's work, Matt and Max?
Good dude, swagging out.
Swagging out?
Yep.
I'm taking a page from Max's book and I'm open sourcing everything I see at my work. Everything's going on GitHub.
Nice. Nice.
That's a page
A
out of
young
my
ed-
book.
Yeah, you didn't you publish your work from SpectreOps, Max?
Yeah, that's because they told me to.
Everything they do is published, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't publish anything.
Yeah, I don't think Raytheon will be too happy.
Yeah, the
about
U.S. Army would come after you.
it.
I'm pretty sure like the death penalty would be for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what happens when you work with a job that has a top secret clearance.
Yep.
Spoopy. I'm hacking. Oh wait, I can't. Okay, whatever. Just gonna make a joke. I thought people take me seriously. Disregard. I'm not hacking anything.
Gosh, you know what? I just really wish I had better internet. Like this
I
would
think
probably
that's
be like-
a hard disk issue, not a internet issue.
I mean, it probably is because I'm putting it on an external hard drive, but
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I mean, this is all like installation. It's writing to disk.
yeah.
External hard drive? What are you getting? 2 megabytes per second?
Well, no, it's an SSD, not a hard drive. So
Oh, okay. Still, it's external, right? It has to go through USB.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
Speaking of
here we
that,
go. And now we have Grub. It's okay. This is faster. All right. So after all of that shenanigans happens, we have to install the bootloader. So just leave this as yes. Yeah. So we're just going to install Grub. We're going to click our hard drive. And then we're going to click continue. It's going to install the bootloader. So does anybody have any exams coming up? I know I have a calculus one tomorrow. That's going to be fun.
I just had an exam yesterday.
What class?
Calculus 1060.
Ah, Nice. All right, so installation complete. Now we just gotta click continue, and then it will reboot and hopefully work. Everything went well. All right, so we click enter. So far, so good. All right, so now that it's booted up, you're gonna type in the username you typed in. So I put Callie, and then your password that you put. Very important that you remember it. We're gonna log in. All right, now you may be thinking that is a very small screen. To fix it, what you can generally do is just make the screen smaller and make it bigger again. And it should automatically resize. If it doesn't, then you can ask in the ask later, and I'll help you with that. But now what we need to do is we basically have everything installed. Just for safe doing, I would recommend updating. So open up a terminal. It should be in the top left. Terminal emulator, and just type in sudo apt update and click enter. It will ask, we trust that you're an administrator, blah, blah, blah. Type in your password again. It won't appear when you type it. That's just a Linux thing. And then now it will say we have 302 packages that can be upgraded, which you can upgrade. The only issue is the state that Callie is in right now is if you decide to upgrade it, it will break something. So when you reboot, it won't actually give you into a whole like desktop GUI. So I would recommend not upgrading for the time being and just leave it as is. Okay, another thing is right now you see how we have like these borders and everything. And let's say we want to like alt tab into another application. We really can't, because it will alt tab into the applications that are in the virtual machine. So if we are in a terminal and we do alt tab to select an application, it will just do it in that. Well, in VirtualBox, it has a thing called a host key, where if you press the key instead of typing in the virtual machine, it will type in what your computer is. So right now you can see at the right bottom, my host key is right control. So if I press right control and then do alt tab, I have control over my regular desktop. So this is very useful if you have Firefox open and you want to switch between Firefox and here, or that you want to type something in another window and for some reason it won't type, it won't type in this window. So it's just good to know that right control is the key that I can use to work with my regular computer, not the virtual machine. Now, another thing that's important to do and that's really useful is setting up shared clipboard. So right now, if I, copy and paste something, it's not going to work. Like if I decide to open a terminal, okay, and I type hello, and I copy it with right click, copy selection. If I go into my regular computer and I decide to paste it, it's not going to paste. So let's just say we try to paste it, it's not going to paste the right thing. It's going to paste it on my actual clipboard. So what we can do is go into, where is it? Yeah, go to devices. It should be a tab right here. Shared clipboard, and do bidirectional. So now what I do is, let's say I copy Callie at Callie, do copy selection. I go to my files and I do paste. It's going to paste Callie at Callie. So this is very useful if you Google something on Firefox on your regular machine and you want to copy it into your virtual machine. So it's just a good feature to have. Now, another thing that is a good feature to have is called shared folders. So what we're actually going to do is we're just going to minimize this real quick. And we're going to go right click, do settings. All right, we're going to do storage. well, we're actually going to go to shared folder, sorry. And now what we're going to do is we're going to click the button in the right top corner that says add share folder. Now, for folder path, just click it and click other. Now, whatever folder you select is what folder will be accessible inside your virtual machine. So in my documents, I actually set up a folder called Kali Shared. So I'm going to click that, and I have the Kali Shared folder selected. I'm going to do select folder. Now for mount point, okay, what I like to do is I just like to use, this is the folder on the virtual machine that I will use to access the folder on my host machine. So I just like to use home and then my username, which is Kali, and then public. So yeah, it's just a folder that exists on your virtual machine. You can, if we do ls, you can see there's a public folder. You can make a shared folder called mkdir shared. It's up to you. We're just going to leave it as public. And then we're going to do auto mount, and don't select read only. Just select auto mount. Click OK, OK. And now it should, if we go to public, yeah, so we have to be root in order to access it. So we're just going to do sudo su, type in your password, and we go to public. Now, any file I make in here is going to be accessible on my host machine. So if I touch hello.txt, and we see we have a hello.txt file. If I go to my folders, and we go to documents, I shared, so we have a hello.txt. So this is very useful, you know, if you have a file on, if you want to transfer files between systems. All right, I'm just gonna exit out of that. Now, another thing that I like doing personally, which is great for if you have a laptop, is it can be a little bit cumbersome, you know, remembering that host key in order to use your keyboard, or just not having this full screen. So what you can do is if we go click out of it and we do Windows key tab, it'll open up this thing called workspaces. And if you don't have a desktop too, you can click add and it'll add a new desktop. But anyway, I just like to go and for the Kali VirtualBox, put it on desktop too. And then once I do that, I'll do view full screen mode. I'll click switch. So now this will be full screen as if I'm, you know, working on it as if it was installed on my machine. And if I 4-finger swipe left and right, it will go back to my host machine. So you don't have to worry about going down here and clicking. You can just 4-finger swipe and you switch between computer to computer. Now, if you want to get out of this full screen view, you can either press Control F, or you can go to the bottom down here and do view and go back to scaled mode. Click switch, and it'll just go back to your regular how it was before. So that's just, you know, some pointers. We set up a shared clipboard. We also set up a shared folder so you can access the clipboard from both machines, and you can access any folder that you put from both machines. So at this point, everything's set up. It would be good to just mess around with Kali, see like what software is installed, and you'll have a whole list of things. And also, you know, if you don't know your basic Linux commands like ls or cd, just getting a good idea of navigating, you know, a Linux file system was really helpful. So you can just mess around with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And to shut off the machine, you can either go power up here and do shutdown, or you can just X out of the window, click power off the machine, and click OK. So now the machine's powered off. And yeah, you can see it's powered off. So that was pretty much how to install a virtual machine. If anything did not work, you can post something in the Discord, in the Linux section or the Windows section, depending on if it was a problem in the machine or if it was a problem with Windows. And there'll probably be someone who can help you out. All right. So that's pretty much it. If you have any issues, you know who to contact. And I'll turn it over to Matt because he wants to talk about what happened last weekend.
Hold on. Let me send you the link. Can you present it? Because my computer.
Wait, are you presenting? Like, you're actually presenting something?
No, like, I mean, I have slides, but I can't do them because
Yeah,
my
for obvious
Wi-Fi.
reasons.
How is Colton still driving?
All right. So let me pull that up real quick. All right. Go back to sharing. All right.
Oh, Matt, you could stop the whatever it's called recording.
The recording. All right.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so